Azir, and very strong individual picks. But when you see what they went up against, Lissandra, there was a Nara in there, Nidalee on the current 5.2 patch. Just so many power picks coming out of Vici, and they really punished them for picking for individual lanes, not for an overall team environment.
Yeah, exactly right. And it seemed that the pick order was probably something that they really struggled with, of course, because Vici just seemed to be able to get the power picks every time it was their turn. They are going to be banning away the Ahri yet again. Of course, the only change that we can see thus far in this banning phase is that Gnar being taken away from carry. And that makes sense because, of course, that Gnar into Frozen Tomb combo was just ridiculous.
Yeah, it certainly was. It really did get a lot of work done. I guess they tried to aggress on... They've just taken away 2 of the picks that made it up, so they're going to make Vici beat them in a different way.
Yeah, and of course, they are switching sides here as well. So King, more than happy to leave up that Kassadin and Zed being banned away.
Ooh, Veigar being picked up as the first pick, so that will probably be in the support position, although we have seen the likes of Mr. Pawn playing it in the mid lane, so definitely has a potential for it to be there. That E is just a phenomenal ability.
It is just silly. It is going to leave the Kassadin open, though. Carry looking at that one. Hatong probably the one likely to pick that up. Has played it in the past to great effect, but can go into the hands of Carry here as well. Dandy has an opportunity to pick up any jungler that he likes.
Can take the Nidalee again if he so pleases.
Yeah, got many, many options, but of course there are other things on the board here as well, and they can take away the Corki that Wushin obviously loves. Still able to play very, very effectively in the lane, but when everyone dies on the map, it's just ridiculous. MLXG, though, he's going to try his hand at Nidalee once again.
Yes, so picks that one away. So far they've banned 2 champions, and they're going to pick potentially 2 champions away. So if there is a way, I guess, to throw them into a little bit of a different game plan, it's by just denying them everything they had, although they don't take the Janna.
Yeah, deciding against the Janna, just want to lock away that Aurelia as quickly as possible, and we'll see what Vici decide to do to really round out this comp now that they do have the Kassadin and the Corki available. Looking like Marta might want to hop onto the Leona here, but has the opportunity to just go straight back on the Janna. I don't see why not.
Yeah, it definitely is a viable choice, but with Leona, so much magic damage that comes out of Leona as well as Kassadin. They have a fantastic, I guess, comp to set up for ganks, being able to get that Rek'Sai in with the knock-up. So I do like the Leona pick. Engaged support seem to be much more in favor at the moment, and they're being played extremely well.
And Liam, looking at the Diana here, we have seen it once before, but didn't quite work out. Of course, in fact, actually gave over a pentakill to a Rek'Sai in the bottom lane very early on. Of course, that wasn't a solo mission. That was, in fact, all 5 members dying. But Assassin does have that Xerath, of course, off the ban list this time. And Wushin looking to pick up the Kalista, and it is going to go through.
Yeah, so I like Xerath with the Veigar support. I reckon that's one of the best combos that you can possibly put with it.
Plus a Nidalee as well.
Yeah, Nidalee being able to follow up, and then you just get one person low, and Wushin might be able to go crazy on the Kalista. So I think a much better team composition coming through from King this time around. They've still got some comfort picks in there. There's still the Aurelia for Skye being able to get in there. I guess Assassin on Xerath, no stranger to that champion either, but much better coming out this time. On the side of Vici, though, still a very impressive teamfight comp coming out.
Yeah, well, that's true. And if they decide to go for the Maokai here, of course, that event horizon blocking off so much area, but if you twisted advance through it, you're not going to get stunned up. You're untargetable as you go through there.
Yeah, and being able to get, I guess, his ultimate across a lot of where the event horizon is might be able to stop some of the damage. So see how Carry treats this one. Hatong versus Assassin is going to be an interesting battle in the mid lane. We see a lot of Kassadin versus Xerath at the moment. Of course, Kassadin wins a little bit early, being able to poke out with that Q, but doesn't really win as the game goes on just because of how much long range. And if you riff walk into a Xerath, very, very dangerous because you just take the stun and a lot of damage. I think that a lot of Vici are forced into Merc trades this game because of the way that the lineups have been set through.
Yeah, and we'll see whether they decide to go for that one. But one thing that we haven't necessarily seen is the Kalista Veigar lane. And we'll see how that one actually works out. Because, of course, Veigar able to lock away a large area. And Kalista, you can sort of just have a field day bouncing around.
Yeah, and I guess the good thing about it is maybe don't look at it as a re-engage. Viger can play very aggressively and look for his event horizon and then be pulled back out of harm's way.
Yeah.
So I think that this is a different way that we're going to see the Kalista ultimate used. If I reach into my Papa Smithy vocabulary, a little bit of a different flavor going through for the Viger, because what that means is, yeah, Viger will play very far up. We'll be able to look for the event horizon. If he gets collapsed on, we'll just be Kalista ultimated away and be in relatively safe.
Yeah, well, that's true. And then has an opportunity, if he manages to land the stun, you can layer that CC with another knockup.
Yeah, I can't see Viger being thrown into a team, but we'll see.
It'd be hilarious. He's a little guy making a whole lot of people bounce, but let's see if it happens as we hop onto the Rift. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, with King taking on Vici. And we were zoomed in then, ladies and gentlemen. Viger is actually a very, very small champion.
He certainly is, but you don't want to go near him level 1, though, that's for sure.
Yeah, that event horizon, you can take that level 1. It's not an ultimate.
And we see actually them invading very aggressively, looking for some early wards.
Can we just talk about the Relic Shield pickup just for one moment? Liam has picked that one up. He's going to be able to build the AP with his Q on this Viger without taking farm from his AD carry. Beautiful stuff.
Unique tactic. Let's see how it plays off. I don't really think AP is his main goal here, but I take the point. A very nice little feature built in there.
Hey, no, at least you get to utilize a part of the champion that otherwise would not be utilized.
Maximizing the full extent of the kit. I like it.
It's beautiful.
We might even see a little bit of a tank Viger here. I'm having reminiscent flashbacks of when tank fiddlesticks was a thing, just because he had...
Was it a thing?
It was. The dude played it a lot.
The dude did play it a lot, to varying success.
But I'm thinking tank Viger. This could be a thing.
Well, actually, he does have decent engage if he wants to get his face into a fight, you know? Just gets Kalista ultimated in there. Fate's call, calling him to his doom there in the middle of the team.
Yeah, so maybe we've overlooked a part of the kit. Maybe the Viger being tanky then can be thrown in is a little bit different. We're used to squishy Vigers, but that might not be the case.
Yeah, you rely on the AP of your opponents to get your damage done. Of course, only with that ultimate. Liam actually... starting off as tank Viger, as he managed to tank up those Krugs just a little bit. Wushin and Lamb going to make it to this lane a little bit earlier on, but you have to think that Vasily and Mart are probably going to try and do the same thing as last game, as Lamb happily using his Relic Shield to get some health back, and of course, give some CS over to Wushin here as well. And actually, Kalista's passive on the Sentinel, if you Q a minion and it kills it with the little passive thingy on it.
Yep.
I'm not entirely sure. I think it's soul something.
Yep. I'm taking your meaning.
Yep. If he kills it with a Q, does he get the stack and does the CS go onto Kalista?
I have absolutely no idea, and I don't think they've gone that deep. But we'll see. We will see.
Soul touched.
Soul touched.
I believe is what it's called. But anyway, let's get out of that, horrible train of idea.
The observer's taking us deliberately away from bottom lane so we can stop talking about it. As we see MLXG, he went for an excursion into that bottom lane that we're speaking about, wasn't able to get much. We see Assassin actually poking out quite heavily towards this early game. Maybe should be going in Kassanen's favor just because he can use that Q to harass so effectively. But we take a little bit more of a look at Viger, and he's surprisingly good in lane. Unless you get a very good hard engage onto him, that event horizon really stops a lot of aggression.
Yeah, and especially coming out of the likes of Leona, who really wants to get onto your face, and then once she's there...
Gank in the top lane.
Oh, we'll see whether Carry's going to be okay as MLXG is here in melee range. The pounce on top of Carry. Takedown's going to be there. Oh my gosh, doesn't decide to go for the execute. And MLXG going for the safe play. If that was Flandre, he would have died to that turret.
Yes, certainly would have. Especially if we take earlier today. Ooh.
Oh, Vasily actually getting caught by the event horizon here. So much damage down here in this bottom side. And Liam actually still playing so far forward.
Yeah, he's an aggressive Viger support. Look at him. He wants to get in there and mix it up. Complete control of the wave now in favor of Wushin and Liam, and maybe even trying to stop the back that's coming out of Vasily here. And if they freeze the wave, Vasily might be in a bit of trouble. That's a lot of CS he'll miss out.
Yeah, a little bit frightening, actually, as he's heading back to base. We'll see what happens, whether they go for the shove, try and back themselves. Do you think Wushin might go back and pick up a recurve bow, say, something like that to really augment his attack speed?
Yeah, I think that's one of the best things about Kalista is that she's not shoved into the 1,500 gold first purchase, so you can really punish people for having to go back at the incorrect times. We'll be able to go back and pick up that recurve bow, as you said, maybe even a Vamp Scepter if he wants to, but it does look like recurve bow is the weapon of choice this time around.
Ho, excellent use of a great song. Is MLXG going to take down this Gromp here as well?
Ooh, jungle is going to crash into each other in the top lane.
Oh, misses the pounce.
That saved his life. Missing that pounce just saved MLXG's life. That is incredible. He does not know how lucky he is. Probably going to go for it again.
Yeah, and that's actually what Dandy was a little bit, I guess,
Tremor
cursed
Senses
for.
just saved once again. What a fantastic passive coming through there.
So nothing actually happened, but so much happened.
Exactly right. What again?
Sky at about half health here. Of course, unbeknownst to him, a whole lot just happened around him. Didn't really do all that much. Pink Ward's going to be battled for here as the Shocking Orb finds Dandy here as well and halves that health bar. MLXG and Lamb. Lamb just doing the roam thing here. It's almost like Gamty have allowed King to borrow Sync Dream for a little while.
He has got to level 4, so he's higher than the level 2 Annie that we're used to seeing.
Yeah, that's true. Not fully Sync Dream. Never go full Sync Dream, ladies and gentlemen.
But what that has meant is that Wushin, he built an advantage in this bottom lane. That has now been reversed very, very rapidly into a 10 CS advantage. Viger now coming back to the lane as it's pushing in, so not much will be lost overall, but maybe not exerting the early item spike that they got as much as they possibly could.
Yeah, Marta actually going to walk over the ward here as well, just making sure that he knows exactly what's going on. Pierce just going to be used from Wushin just to try and farm the creeps that he can find.
So that's a massive creep wave. They need to make sure they don't take any harass under the turret here, but they will be able to pick up a lot of that CS discrepancy. And if they don't lose out on a dragon, that will be a good result for King in this game.
Yeah, MLXG going to show himself here in the mid lane, going to go towards these Raptors, and this dragon just dying unbeknownst to King. Vasily's going to make his way up here as well as this wave's trying to be dealt with by the side of King, but looks like this dragon's going to fall down right under the nose of King.
Yeah, and that's really confusing because there's no way that's unbeknownst because everyone just disappeared out of bottom lane and there's not really many other places they can go. So first dragon going over to King. They'll have the rough timer on it, so we'll be able to get in. Going over to Vici, sorry. They'll have the rough timer on it. Will King, but that was very well played, I guess. Recognizing the massive wave had been shoved in the turret and taking full advantage of the fact that Wushin couldn't join.
Yeah, and is this a little bit like King just sort of know that they don't really want to be fighting at this stage? Is that something that they want, or is their comp fine at doing that? Yeah,
their comp's actually pretty good at poking people off Dragon. They maybe even could have just... I guess Leona doesn't have her ultimate yet, so could have taken Xerath and Nidalee there, thrown a couple of Qs out and probably even dissuaded it, but just choosing to avoid the hard CC that can come out of Leona if she follows up something like a Kassadin.
Yeah, and that was a little bit frustrating there for Wushin as that Sentinel's going to spot Vasily almost immediately. Lamb needs to start using these Relic Shield stacks because I spent so much time talking about it. Kind of want him to be utilizing it. Going to collapse a tunnel there as well. You can see he's got 3 AP. Nice.
So I apologize, you were completely right. That is exactly what he's trying to do, stack up that rapid AP.
Yeah.
3.
That rapid 8 minutes already with 3 free ability power. How is that not awesome?
As we see, a little bit of a massive lull actually in the game. A lot of farming coming through as Danny actually gets caught out a little bit in his jungle. So it seems to be the aggressive Nidalee's coming through, although that was led by Assassin that time around. And Layam once again just stepping on an expired ward. Otherwise, it would have been a great roam up. Might be able to take out a pink ward, though, for his trouble.
Actually, Hatong finds him, though. There's the Event Horizon going to slow down Hatong's aggression. But look at that. Halves Lamb's health just by Rift walking on top of him.
Yeah, and that's a very aggressive pickup out of Hatong. He's gone for the Blasting Rod over the Catalyst.
Yeah.
Just to make sure he has as much dueling potential as possible in this point in the game. Not really worried that he's going to get chunked out. Normally, when you're against a poke mid laner like a Xerath, you are more worried about keeping your health topped up and being able to farm to that late game. but just showing extreme comfort on the Kassadin champion, able to pick up the blasting rod, go the aggressive build.
Yeah, and Hetong has seen a lot of his success on this Kassadin here as well, as Lamb makes his way back round into this lane. Of course, Fate's Call is available if they want to throw an incredibly squishy Viger into the enemy team. Not entirely sure whether that's a thing, but, you know, if Lamb starts taking too much CS, it may be that Wushin just throws him on in.
If we see just very, very standard play coming out of both teams. First Dragon went over to Vici. That will be up in about 3.5 minutes time now. MLXG, he's farming up nicely. Got a 5 CS lead. Hasn't been able to put out the same pressure that Dandy put out last game. In the top lane, Sky is slowly building a lead for himself. 7 CS up, moving towards maybe a 13, 14-minute Trinity Force at this point in the game. But neither team really trying to push it too hard.
Yeah, Wushin is going to be able to head back and finish off that Hurricane if he so desires. Only 1,500 needed to complete that from the recurve bow if he wants to go back, but decides that maybe now is not the time.
Yeah, and Mata actually this time is the support to roam around.
Actually going to be Rek'Sai yelling here just a little bit. Dandy wants to make sure that he's getting enough attention on this map. Just going to be warding over the side here. And Wushin being aggressive, doesn't actually pop the Ren there onto Vasily for a little bit of extra damage. Doesn't want to go too close in range as MLXG shows his face. Mata is going to probably head back around to this bottom lane, at least eventually. Has hit level 6, so of course that Solar Flare able to affect a long distance away, and I think wanted to put a lot of pressure on Assassin there in the middle side. Yeah,
they've just collapsed here, and they're really forcing the some unsure. Are they going to turret dive bottom? Are they going to turret dive mid? It looks like mid is the call here, and very wisely, Assassin, who has taken cleanse once again, staying a long way back.
Yeah, and Dandy actually just loving the red side of the enemy jungle this whole series. This pink ward is going to finally be cleared from Mata as Carry going to push this wave back towards Sky. Actually, Twisted Advance on top of him as the Equilibrium Strike stops the assault. But of course, Sky more than happy to farm up these creeps underneath the turret. And Dandy unable to find too much.
Ooh, Event Horizon.
Oh, actually, Marty gets caught. Probably not the champion that you really want. Zenith Blade not going to land, but he just flashes on top. That was an incredible Fate's Call. Gets the double knock up here as well, and that's first blood going over to Liam here. And he's the carry. He's the star, and he's going to get it going on. Carry now in a lot of trouble. Spear just grazing Dandy as Event Horizon yet again onto 2 members. Wushin starting it up again. Is he going to have the Ren set to come through as Vasily just forced to use that Valkyrie? The ultimate to come down. Dandy, the last shot from Assassin, and that's his namesake. Picks up a kill from the offside.
Yeah, and a really nice play coming out of the bottom lane duo. Wushin having a much better game this time round.
Oh, yeah.
Able to start that one off with a nice Fate's Call, and then the 2-man Event Horizon to really seal the deal there coming out of Liam. Much better play coming out of King altogether. Better rotation around the map. Beat them to the punch this time around and really force Vici into a bad situation.
Yeah, Wushin is going to be able to secure this bottom turret here as well. Of course, with that Hurricane, was able to just get so much damage down, and utilizing their power spikes, making sure that that sort of engage happens exactly when King wanted to. That was just beautifully done. And Liam, he's now at 8 ability power.
And we see Assassin able to defend his pink ward as I completely ignore Atlas's irrelevant stats about the game. It will mean Vici have an opportunity to pick up their second dragon, and once again, against a poke comp, this is very important to be able to secure early objectives, so I like the fact that this has been so high on the priority list for Vici, but this time around they're in a 2,000, 3,000 gold hole, and across the board, much better performances out of every player on the King lineup. Even in the top lane, Sky now starting to bully Carry a little bit, and they picked up the first turret in the bottom lane off the back of the last skirmish as well.
Yeah, and Sky, of course, didn't have too bad a time as far as the laning phase was concerned, but really couldn't affect the map after a certain point on that Aurelia because the team was just too far behind. But see whether he is going to be able to have the effect that he wants. Lamb, use that Q to take down the cannon creep. Up to 10, so yeah. See, look, the Observer definitely loves the fact that he's building some AP here as well. Lamb now having the mobility boots as well. You're going to have potential for that E around Sky. Actually getting aggressed on here on the top side. There's the slow coming through from the force pole. Sky, oh, he misses! And Sky just going to wander away. Rift walks out there as well as Carry actually going to be then secured by this one. Oh my goodness. Lamb actually probably could have been in trouble if Dandy had have decided to unburrow on him there because, of course, doesn't have too many of those tanky stacks just yet. MLXG looking for something here. Marta gets caught. There's the pounce over the wall and the explosion to come down. Can he do it? The Q? Not quite enough. Eclipse is ridiculous. And MLXG is able to secure the kill.
Yeah, very nice play once again from Lamb. He's really nailing these event horizons. Pressure on the top side of the map means another objective falls in the middle. 4-man strong, the siege coming through now. Assassin with that needlessly large rod chunking out these minion waves, and King look like a completely different team.
Yeah, and do you think that this is all just coming off the back of how strong this Nidalee pickup is at the moment?
I don't think it's a Nidalee. I think it's how strong Viger is. It's just ridiculous. That event horizon is the pinnacle of old League of Legends abilities still being in the game. It's reminiscent of the 3-second Fiddle Fear. It is just such a strong ability.
Yep, sort of release Twisted Fate.
Oh, it's not that bad.
Giving everyone nightmares. Assassin going to be able to take down the pink ward here. Of course, League of Legends has gone through a lot of evolution, and Viger just hasn't seen that much play.
Yeah, he really hasn't. It was Pawn pulled it out, and he was, I guess, one of the few, and then we saw a lot more in the support position as Sky really pushing in on this top lane now. Crashes a whole minion wave up there. All of a sudden, he's 35 CS in the advantage and having an absolute terrific time.
1,000 gold in the lead as well.
Has got that Trinity Force, has managed to pick up his boots as well against maybe the less aggressive, the Righteous Glory coming out. Still a very good item on Maokai, but doesn't just lend the same, I guess, late game scaling that you would expect out of a roller Maokai that becomes more of a threat in this mid game. And we see Wushin. I really like watching Kalista farm. Probably one of the few. Kalista and Rumble are my two favorite champions to watch farm for completely different reasons. Because Rumble players just farm terrifically well with a very poor kit for farming.
Yep.
And Kalista actually just looks cool. Boogies all over the place while picking up that CS.
Yeah. I think we could probably just, especially at times like this when Sky's just standing around waiting to last hit minions, and that's the most interesting thing we have to look at on the map. Let's just follow Kalista.
But in saying that, controlling a wave with Aurelia is also a very fun part of League of Legends.
Interesting things excite you, Spawn.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, because Aurelia has a really cool kit in the fact that she pushes extremely well with her ultimate, which is on a short cooldown, so true. And then can freeze and last hit because uses Heat-End style to get a lot of the damage as MLXG takes an adventure into the wall.
Yeah, that was a fantastic spear to land, though, apart from the fact that his pouncing ability is not so good. Didn't trust them there either, but Lamb gonna secure carry here on the top side. Sky gonna get caught by the Solar Flare, and Hatonga to finish him off. Completely out of mana, though, as the ultimate comes through. Wushin, he's dancing around. Lamb gets another event horizon. Hatonga gonna fall down for the double kill as Marta gonna fall as well. MLXG picks up that kill as Vasily forced a Valkyrie his way to safety, and the last outer turret now gonna fall for King.
And Wushin is going off. He got the triple Ren set in that little bit of a skirmish and did so much damage on this Kalista. 3-0 and 4. But the event horizon once again is what got it all done. 3 people caught in it. It's like a cage. If you get hit by the side, you're stunned. But otherwise, you don't really have many choices of what you're going to do for the 10 years that it's actually on the map.
Yeah, well, that's true. And I mean, King now, looking at Lamb here as well, 2-0 and 6. There's 8 kills on the map, 100% kill participation. The Magi is now picked up from MLXG. He's already got a few stacks on it as well from that exchange in the top side. And King really wanted to snowball out this one.
Yeah, so they're in a much better position. 7,000 gold at 18 minutes. That's further ahead than what Vici were on the other side. Vici still controlling the Dragons, got good map pressure, but they're getting very desperate. 5-man gank squad into the bottom lane.
Yeah, they're desperate and really angry at Sky by the looks of things. Transcendent Blade's keeping him alive for a long time, trying to turn around on Hatong. Doesn't quite manage to, but a valiant effort to come through from Sky.
He nearly picked up that kill. Sky going, pretty deep there to try and get that one, and it looks like they might even be able to grab an inhibitor turret. No, not able to, just a lot of damage coming through.
Yep, zoning Event Horizon to come through here as well as Preyseeker finds the backsides of a couple of members of King. Scrying Orb going to be used. We'll see whether Vici can collapse onto this as King very far extended another Event Horizon, and Dandy takes a lot of damage for that one as well as Assassin. That's the easiest Shocking Orb he's ever actually thrown out.
And the ultimate for good measure.
Marta taking one or two of those, but of course with that Eclipse running does have a lot of resistances. He's going to be okay. Teleport to come through from Sky. He's really angry, wants some revenge. The three-man stun as Vasily gets caught up there as well. Sky doesn't have the reset on that ultimate, but Carry, he's left on his own. Wushin's here as well, and Assassin picks up the kill. 2-0-1 on this Xerath with a death cap now.
Yeah, and it looks like they'll be able to rotate that into a dragon as well. So being able to pick up their first dragon of the game, and King now with an 8,000 gold advantage at 20 minutes.
This is just ridiculous. Night and day from the last series, and it's been a spooky day with things happening that probably shouldn't, and yet again, it's surprised us.
Yeah, it really has, and what a transformation coming out of King. They obviously were able to keep morale fairly high after what was a pretty demoralizing game last time around, but now they've got some swagger in their stat. I like the Magi's pick up the very aggressive death cap. Already got another blasting robe before even getting boots. They're just relying on Viger to get in range, and then everyone else is just using long-range abilities to kill whoever is in that Event Horizon.
Yep, Lamb actually, unfortunately, sold.
And I am absolutely speechless, Atlas. Against the best CC in the game, there are 2 Sork boots and Mobies. No Merc Treads are yet to be picked up for Vici, and they're losing because of CC.
Interesting. We'll see whether the decision pays off here for Vici, as I don't think it will. Lamb just going to clear out this ward here, and maybe not respecting the Viger pick that much, but of course Marta played it to such fantastic effect in a series just yesterday.
Yeah, I don't think you can not respect the Viger. 100% kill participation, just having a completely standout game here. And you actually see MLXG happy to pick up the blue buff for himself, stealing that one away from Assassin, who now has decided to recall, doesn't want to play anymore.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't either. Of course, junglers stealing blue buffs has been a thing in solo queue for quite some time. Oh, Event Horizon going to land here. The ward put down immediately. Look at the pound. So excited to get amongst it. The ultimate from Lamb tickling the tree. But Sky, of course, has real damage, and he's going to be able to finish off the kill.
Yeah, the KS from the top laner away from the support. But all importantly, the 100% kill participation is preserved, and he's not done yet.
Oh, Dandy gets caught here as well. MLXG gets a Krug. Unfortunate placement of that particular jungle creep as Marta waiting around trying to get a pick in the transition. Lamb wise to it though, as Hatong going to try and clear out this ward here as well. Sky probably going to try and get another one over, but of course doesn't have any wards available. Assassin doesn't want to get caught out as Force Balls lands here as well. Tries to answer with some damage, but he was just in a silly position.
He certainly was. Got collapsed on. Nice play there from Vici, but they need to be careful that they don't face check the top side of the map because King are still lying very patiently in wait.
Yeah, 9,000 gold now the lead here for King. 4 turrets to 1 as well, so they've got so much map control. Of course, if Vici can do anything, they can ward extremely well, and it's not quite the shutout in Vision that King were shut out for in the last game. So Vici, they do have that to hang their hat on, but we'll see whether they can make any traction in this game because King have just been moving around as a unit. And I think that Assassin sort of conceded his life without really trying to go for anything because he wanted to preserve the 100% kill participation for Lamb.
Yeah, certainly. I think that was definitely the case there. As we see, Lamb has now picked up that Talisman of Ascension, so he's going to be able to get in range even quicker.
Yeah.
For that Event Horizon. And really, this is a terrifying Viger.
Oh, yeah. And just so fast. He's going to be able to put that down everywhere. He, of course, has the Alacrity enchant on his mobility boots as well, which is just a stupidly fast waddle from Lamb. Look at him go. Bonk, 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 bonk. It's just silly. Just silly. Looks like a puppet. Something like that wandering around. Sentinel just going to try and spot out, see whether Dandy's going to come around and check this Baron. You can see they've managed to pink that one up. Oh, Event Horizon going to uncharacteristically not find its mark as the Zenith Blade does. Marta coming through. Solar Flare onto Assassin. Lamb gets taken out with a Fate's Call, but the double knock up from Dandy gets knocked up in return as Carry right into the front line. There's the Event Horizon here as well as Liam. Oh my gosh, the heal saves his life. Atong right in there as well as Wushin is so incredibly low, but he lives through everything. The rocket not going to find his mark. Vasily, so confused about what to do, decides he'll pick up a double kill, but that's an ace for King.
Yeah, King able to pick up an ace. A very good team fight coming out of Vici, understanding as soon as that Event Horizon was down, 10,000 gold or not, that's just such an important ability on cooldown. Mata went extremely deep, and you saw Hetong, his primary target was the Viger. Bypassed everyone else, tried to assassinate him. In the end, maybe the items just a little bit too far, and we take a look at the sad Viger. Still 100% kill participation, ladies and gentlemen. Don't worry.
Yep, still doing absolutely fine. Not even sure. I think it was Dark Matter managing to pick up a little bit of tagging, but Mata coming through with a brilliant engagement.
Yeah, and Hetong really zoning out the Viger there, making sure the fake ball came through. They bounced up a couple of members, but really from here, Wushin is the star of this team fight. He was getting so many autos out. Able to pick up the first reset here, jumps backwards around the corner very nicely here to make sure that he has control over the terrain, which is very important. Dodges out a spear, and that was maybe the most millimeter miss of an Event Horizon that would have really allowed that double kill to not have come through and help out getting a little bit of a better end to that team fight than what was there.
Yeah, and we definitely are watching League of Legends, ladies and gentlemen. Vici Gaming trying to get back on the front foot here as well, as 10,000 gold is a huge gap here at 25 minutes in. Liam still lurking. Of course, as the sort of the baddie that he is, as far as that lore is concerned. Saying that he's lurking, definitely a thing, but his walk just does not look like... I could just imagine Viger watching the cast just saying things like, I am evil, stop laughing.
He is a pretty cool champion. As we see the blue buff stolen away, they'll rotate this into a dragon pretty convincingly. In response, Vici sending 5 members top. Very good move, getting away from the Viger as far as possible. Picking up an objective on the other side of the map is extremely important to try and normalize some of this gold. So swapping stats for gold, very good choice at this point, because realistically can't contest, just pick up what you can.
Yeah, and of course, Vici managed to secure the first 2 dragons here as well. So now only evening up the dragons are king, despite the fact that they have this huge lead. So of course, Vici more than happy just to pick up as much standing gold on this map as they can. Wushin now with a huge amount of items in his back pocket. That's going to be the last Whisper completed as well, and has a QSS. So that Solar Flare not going to be as much of an issue for him to deal with. Might just be carry using that Arcane Smash to knock him up, knock him around these fights. That's really going to be the thing to worry about. MLXG now has a Haunting Guise here as well, just wanting some power now.
Yeah, certainly does. I think this game deteriorated very rapidly for Vici, and King have been playing it extremely well, but they need to start worrying about their side lane control, because we saw there that they wanted to siege mid, but top and bottom were both in horrible positions, and they really are playing this off the back of some good engages coming off Viger, but they've just lost 2 turrets uncontested. And
Carry might be caught out here just a little bit. Spear to come through, but that last minion not going to be enough to take down that outer turret. Just needs to be breathed on a little bit in the mid lane. Talisman of Section actually being popped here. Liam going to flash forward and get the Event Horizon, but that's carry. It doesn't matter. He's just going to be focused out as Sky right in the front line. Wushin, he'll get the first kill, the first reset. He's way into the front line here as well. The triple kill to come through from Wushin as the last 2 members picked up alongside here as well. And King, we were talking about them maybe not rotating effectively. It doesn't matter. They'll just run at you.
yeah, exactly right. The quickest Viger in the world, able to steam ahead, grab another Event Horizon. That could mean the game. 20 out of 20. Liam, take a bow. That was a phenomenal performance.
That was absolutely incredible. Did die in that last team fight, but it was a team fight that they won, so I'll give it to him. And my gosh, this Viger support is ridiculous. I'm actually quite upset that he's had a little bit of a rework.
Yeah, and what a polarizing change. We saw the best of Vici, and that's probably the worst of Vici that we've seen.
Yeah.
Being dictated to repetitively, fell very far behind, weren't able to get any favorable fights. And King, what kind of team are they? Are they an amazing team fight team that can really dictate the flow of the game? Or are they a team that has very big difficulties rotating around the map in the mid game, because we kind of see both very often.
Yeah, we do, and they seem to be able to find team fights sometimes, and they're beautiful. When they're orchestrating the fights, it seems to be sort of King's motto is, now that we're in this position, what can we make of it? And when they're in a favorable position, they come up with incredible things. Their in-fight communication is fantastic, but as far as orchestrating it, getting to those positions, they look to be struggling just a little bit.
Yeah, they certainly do. I think they rely very heavily on their lanes winning, and in this case, they did, and they played fantastically. Massive props to bounce back from a disappointing game one to win in that fashion against a very good lineup. King are a very interesting team to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. But, ladies and gentlemen, that does bring us to the end of the night. On behalf of myself, Spawn, Papa Smithy, and Pastry Time, and of course our whole production crew, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.